Hi everybody, it's Ohad from the internet again, and I'm here with another video of ShortCodes UI tutorial series. In this video I'm going to go over all the fields and sections that you have here in this nice UI that this plugin provides for creating shortcodes. So to start with, you have the first field right here, which is the name of the shortcode. This name is something that you can see when you use the ShortCodes UI button, either this one or this one. When you want to select the shortcode, it doesn't show up anywhere in the site, but it's something very useful. Basically, I recommend you do something. You give it like a descriptive title, because once you have many shortcodes, it's kind of hard to find the one that you want. Moving on, this is the content, mostly used for simple snippets, but you can use it with any other kind of shortcode, assuming that you use the right token or the right code, if it's a PHP code, to call this content. Okay, so in the shortcode settings we have whatever type of shortcode you want to create. In the previous videos we created at least one of each type, show you what it is, what it means. That's something you should not it's something you should really think of, because most shortcodes could be made with a simple shortcode or with shortcode with content, and all shortcodes could be created as an advanced, but it's kind of more advanced. You need to know PHP and some kind of advanced syntax, but those are easier to render, so you should use either one of those. And that's about it. That's all I have to say about this. Okay. Moving on, the shortcode tag. The tag is the tag itself. It's what we're going to call the shortcode. Meaning, if I create a shortcode that it's going to highlight my text, I want to name it something like something like highlight, and then I know I can use it even without the button. I can just use something like that, and then the shortcode itself, and then if I have a closing tag, if I'm using the content, then the name again. You get the point. The template is usually for whenever you have HTML and you don't want to use the editor, because it most of the time strips out your styles and your scripts and your HTML basically. But so you can use this right over here. You can call content from here to the template over here using this special token over here, which is a shortcode content, and we'll take the content from the top. If you have a shortcode with content or an advanced shortcode, you can use this token over here to call the content that the user enters between the shortcode tags. It's kind of confusing, too many things named content. And you can also use attributes, just placing curly brackets and the attribute name inside it. Okay, moving on. A preview image. Well, basically it's something that you're gonna see when you open up your shortcodes section. That's a little preview over here, and you will see it when you use the shortcode itself using the button. Let's say well, I don't have any shortcodes with images right now, so it won't show anything, but it should show up here if I had something right before the title or under it. If you're gonna export your shortcodes, I suggest you use some kind of external image hosting, so you won't call images from your own site to a different site that you exported the image to. just basically use I use ImageGuru, which is pretty nice and decent, and I can recommend it. Moving on, shortcodes attributes. Well, this is basically where the magic happens. It's like creating fields for your shortcode. Every attribute must have a name, so a name is a must. I'm gonna name it. Options, value options. I can select if you leave this blank right here, then it's gonna end up being a simple text input box. But if you put options in here, like 1, 2, and 1 in each line, then it's gonna be a drop down with options for the user to select from, and it's not that way we know we won't get something wrong. Description. You should always have a description. It gets confusing once you have like 5 or 10 attributes. So to remember whatever each one of them does, it's kind of nice to have this description over there. And you can select the default value. If you don't select the default value, nothing will be shown. That's it. That's all there is to it. I'm thinking about adding other field types like checkbox and maybe radio buttons and maybe even a text area, but right now I don't see why. But I did have a few people come and ask for it, and I'm thinking about it, and maybe in later versions. CSS style. If my shortcode has some styling, then I just put the code here, the CSS styling, and whenever I use that shortcode at least once, well, this content, this style, whatever is in here, is gonna end up being on a page just once. So don't worry about if you use the same shortcode more than once in that page, it will only show up once. Same goes for this JavaScript section. And right now we have something which we covered in the last video. It's the PHP code. It's for creating advanced shortcodes when you need calculations or get dynamic stuff. And I talked about this option right here last video. Once again, if you use the shortcode, the advanced shortcode, then you should specify if your shortcode returns the value or echoes it out, if you don't want things to get messy. And last, we have the external files section, which is pretty nice if you want to include external files like JavaScript and style sheets. And the main idea is not to use that, but if you have shortcodes that do need extra JavaScript files or jQuery or their own style sheets, then this is pretty handy. You just put the URL to the file or whatever. You specify what kind of file is it, and you can select where you want to embed it. And right now, well, in the last, well, I think it's the one before last update, I added this feature right here. WordPress has a pretty neat function which is called WordPress enqueue. It's used to enqueue styles and scripts, and if you use that, then it will only be included once in a page every time you call that shortcode. And if another plugin or a theme that you're using or something else has called that JavaScript file already, it won't be included once more. So it's always better to use the WordPress enqueue. One point that I do have to say, that when you embed style sheets, it will always be in the head and not before the body. It's kind of browser issues. I know that Safari doesn't allow, well, it allows, but it doesn't do anything when you embed style sheets inside the body tag. And one last thing that I do have to say, I did have a few questions about it. The attributes. Attribute name must be in in lower letters, so no capital. So if I use something like this, that's pretty bad. Don't use it. Use this. And that's about it. Oh wait, one last thing. This thing right here, it's mainly because I've had people ask about keeping credits to themselves. I'm gonna say that with quotes. For shortcodes they created and they exported and let people and shared with people. So if you're gonna share this shortcode that you're creating, put your name here, your URL to the site or whatever. And if you provide support for this shortcode, you can put it right here, and it's gonna show up right here once you do that. And if the shortcode is imported, it's not you won't be able to change it, so the credit always stays with the creator. And I think that's about it for now. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.